Welcome back to the Enter Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana. I'm still getting over being sick, which is awesome. It's been like 2 months. And I'm here with Susan Miele. Hello, Susan.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what you do.
Okay. I'm with New Hampshire Weddings by Susan, which I started. I used to work at the city clerk's office in Nashua, so I saw a lot of couples coming in to do their marriage license.
Yep.
And then I asked my supervisor, "Well, how do you do that?" And it's surprisingly simple. You just send away to the Secretary of State's office with $75 in an application. They do a background check, and you're in. So I waited for my book of how to do it, and there is no book. So I said, there was another lady in the office that did it, and she said, write your own vows. And so I did it kind of on the side, and then I still do it on the side. But I just came in my life, my kids were growing up, and there wasn't, a hell of a lot to do. And so I said I need to go exercise. So I said, all right, I went, but I didn't want to walk around or go to a gym because I didn't want anyone to see me. So I started going to the cemeteries in Nashua. They have nice paths in there. It's nice and quiet. And I started reading all the stones. And I'm like, and I'd look at a big family one. And then, they'd always have this one lone daughter that wasn't married. And I'm like, spinster. As I'm walking along, and I'm like, I've been hanging around and feeling bad that the kids are gone, feeling bad I never got married because Scarlet Letter, I had kids and they'll be married. So then I said, this is getting pretty boring, this pity party. So I ended up getting really active in the weddings, and now somebody asks me to marry them almost every day. And it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. I love it.
That must be interesting because from what I know, weddings have had one.
Yeah.
Hopefully it stays that way.
Yes.
They can get kind of crazy.
Yes.
So, because you kind of have the low end wedding, like what I did, which was very informal, very cheap. And then I've seen some weddings that are I don't even want to touch whatever that cost.
Yes.
So, what type of things do you typically deal with? Like high end, low end?
To be honest with you, I kind of steer away from those because the expectation is so huge. I'm always I just want to be real. I want two people who just want to be real and who love each other and want to bring smaller is better, really.
Yeah.
Because it means more. You don't have to invite everybody you've ever known, through grammar school and buy them a meal. That's not what it's about. But it is awesome to get everybody together and have everyone take part in the ceremony, be interested in the ceremony, and then party and share bread and share a meal together to celebrate it. And it's just great. But it's mostly the smaller ones I start off with, and probably 100, 150 people is what I like to do. That's
small.
Yeah. And small. And then I have other people that we meet at Greeley Park or in Hudson at Benson's in the gazebo and marry them. It takes 10 or 15 minutes. I call that my kiss and go special.
Yeah.
And that's a nice, intimate, small wedding. Yeah. So all sizes. With the big, Swarovski crystal gown, and I don't like that. I tried to get into that a little bit to expand my services, and the more I learned about, how to fold napkins and all of that, I realized that I don't care. I really don't care. No one's going to remember that. They remember good food and they remember a good time.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. I mostly like to deal with the ceremony part. And a lot of, guys will be like, hey, I said I love you. I said I'd show up. I want to marry you. Don't, raise the bar so high that, I'm going to come in on a white horse and, knock it off, all right? Don't make me. I said I'll do it. And, the woman is trying to come there. Or really, lots of couples. I did gay couples, too. It's everybody has all these expectations of when you're a kid and what your big wedding's going to be.
Yeah.
And the more you're in it, and when you start off, you find out how much things cost. Then you start going, well, we don't need the horses. Forget things.
Yeah.
And then you get kind of real. And, do you want to spend, money on your wedding and be paying for it for a couple of years? No. Take your money and buy a house or save it. We have to make better decisions and make better choices. And I think nowadays young people know that. They don't want to be in debt. They don't want to put their parents into debt. They just want to have a nice party and have their ceremony mean something and be married. So the tradition part is there and the party is there. But the rest, you can make it your own.
Yeah. Oh, missed my camera there. Because I was in the Army, so I've seen a lot of like impromptu on the fly weddings.
Yes.
So yeah, like you said, mine was a lot similar to what you were talking about. It's very small. It was more of a potluck type deal. You know,
Yes.
the whole family showed up and we just had a good time. But as I was saying, I've seen some that are just, and you're right. There's a lot of stress there that doesn't need to be there. Like, oh no, what color cake do we need? It's white, but it's kind of off white. It's not the right white. And I'm like, calm down.
Right.
Like, just
No.
chill.
And the other
Yeah.
part is when your guests come, they don't know what it was supposed to be. So they're just happy there's a cake, or they just they're not. They don't say, "Oh my God, I can't believe the napkins weren't in the shape of a swan." Nobody cares about that. They really don't. They, that's what I say. On my website, it's like, what do you want your wedding to say about you as a couple? That's really your first time that you're coming out going like, you can kind of stop calling me to see if I'm going to come somewhere. It's us now.
Yeah.
It's an us. Every time, or if you say you're going to take that job, well, we're going to consider that.
Yeah.
But now and that's what you're doing. Is you're coming out to say we're our own thing now, and it's official, and we're recognizing that and celebrating it, and accept this person like you accepted me, and if you don't, bye. I've had a lot of people that it's funny. The grandparents will come up to me, or we didn't think this person was going to be good for them, and I'm like, but in the end, you trusted them to make a good choice for them. And they did, and now you're at the wedding, and just be happy.
Yeah.
You can't just be quiet.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, and I do understand a little bit of the hesitation on the family's part, because sometimes we're blind to things because of that. But you're right. There is a little bit of, okay, let them live their lives instead of interfering, and then they will eventually figure out the mistake if it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go through I do a lot of second marriages, third marriages. Sometimes that's not who you are at the time.
Yeah.
And that's another bringing expectations into something that then when it's day to day and day in and day out, and you got to do each other's laundry, and they're breathing funny when they eat cereal. It's like, oh man, I liked you, but this is too much.
Yeah.
And then later on, as you grow up, and that's why, staying close and communication is important, so you stay on the same path. The things out, and that's mostly what keeps a marriage together, is if you're planning the same things. Yeah, we both want a house, we both want kids, we both don't want kids, whatever your plans are, that you're planning in that way.
Yeah.
It's but a lot of those impromptu ones, people know, they have a feeling, and it's mostly, I don't know what to do it. Especially in the military, you don't know what your future's going to be. They can ship you wherever they want. And a lot of times they're like, you know what, he's going to get shipped out. Can we, get together and have a marriage so then I can bring them with me? So there's a lot of that. And we'll have a party later. There's that.
Now, when you get those types of weddings, I don't know if you would know or not, but again, based on people's expectations, do you get a lot of, I don't even know the word, when you see weddings like that and people are like, oh, they just got married with like, there's some paperwork met weddings. Do people look down on that type of stuff?
Sometimes, yeah. They'll go like, like my daughter just did it to me. I plan weddings, and I'm sitting at work, and I look down, and I got a text from her with the pictures of the rings with her hand. Guess what we did? I'm like, what? And she's in Washington, D.C., so like I can't even get at her. But in the end, they decided it. I mean, they're the ones that are in the marriage. They've been together for years, and I'm like, no, I guess I'm happy with that. She's ecstatic, and so is he. So I'm like, well, that's all right. But yes, people are like, can't believe she didn't come home. I can't, she's gonna have kids now. She's pregnant. I'm like, like, step back.
A lot of judgmental stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have had couples that they want to get married now, and then they'll have a religious ceremony later.
Yeah.
So they kind of will just go, well, just meet us in the parking lot of City Hall. And I'm like, you're not even gonna like get out of the car.
It's like, no, drive through
no,
this.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I just have to, by law, make sure that they are who they say they are.
Yeah.
That they express that they understand this is real, and the only way out is a divorce. So this is, whether or not you get out or get dressed up, it's real and legal. And they have to get their marriage license from a city or town clerk anywhere in New Hampshire. And then I sign that and return it to the clerk's office, and you're done. So I just, hopefully, I've only had one. It was the day after they got married. first thing in the morning, and I got a call from the groom saying, "Can you not put that through?" And I was like, "What?" Like I was dying to know what happened the night before, but
Must have been a hell of a night.
yeah, exactly.
You're like, what happened in that 24 hours? And he's like, no,
Yeah.
no, pull it apart.
Yeah, I was dying to know. I said, "No, I'm sorry. It's already been turned in here. Once I do that ceremony and sign, you're married." So.
Yeah, so you got to go through the divorce
you
now.
gotta go through the divorce now. Yeah, thank God only one. I still see people that will, "You married us," and they're still together years later. So
Yeah.
I think I got a good track record.
That's good. That's really good. So what's it like running this business? It seems like it could be a lot of fun. I don't like paperwork.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much is involved as far as that goes. So how does it go day to day?
Day to day, it's mostly like they think of me last. Mostly people sat at the party.
Mm-hmm.
They do the reception. They pick a place to have it. They start dealing with food and cake, and the dress is really, up there.
Yeah.
What are they gonna wear? And then they go, "Oh yeah, who's gonna do it?"
Yeah.
And then they think of people in their family. Can somebody like go and get be like a minister, which you can be on for free online. I don't know if you've ever seen.
No.
Conan O'Brien did it.
Oh, really?
The Universal Life Ministries or something like that, and they'll do it. But there's an art to it, and I'm always perfecting my art. I'm always practicing. I try to do public speaking events as much as possible.
Yeah.
And just read out loud at home and like listen to my tone and where you emphasize things. So there's an art to it. So a lot of times you go like, "That guy's wicked funny. Let's get my cousin," and that's good. Except you don't want it to be like their show. They're it's okay to have humor in your ceremony, but it's not about them. It's about you.
Yeah.
So I offer ceremony coaching, where if you do want your uncle or someone to do it, I'll work with them so that they know the parts to. Maybe where you can insert jokes and where it's better not to, and how to wrap it up and all that, and what parts of humor to use in their relationship. Some things are funny, he won't clean up, or she talks too much or whatever. And then there's other personal things that should not be brought in. It's not. That's what I say. It shouldn't be at the expense of someone. That's not funny for anybody. Nobody wants to be sitting there and be embarrassed for you. And but anything that you can tell that's personal about the people. A little bit, that maybe how they met and how they're feeling about each other, what their favorite memories are together.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people haven't seen the person that's getting married in years. A lot of family members, you don't see them as much as you'd like. And at this wedding, it's like, who did you grow up to be? And what did this person have that attracted you? And then they feel like they made that connection. And then your reception is that much better. Everybody's really into it. They know how you met. They feel like they're a part of it. And that good mood and those good vibes carry right over into that party. And then you do have everybody having great food and drinks, and that's how you do it. If you just go up there and you don't really, take the time to put any effort into your ceremony, people will look at it like you're saying, that didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And your ceremony is going to be like whether or not you had a good night at a club. It's really not going to have that same memory and feeling.
Yeah. I do like that because there is a sort of professionalism to it that I guess people would overlook. Not really. And just bringing up public speaking, because I've, like I said, I've been married once, so this one, and I was the best man at another wedding that I went to. So that public speaking is something people completely overlook. Because the best man at my wedding, and I was the best man at his, he had to do his part of the ceremony to stand up, and he was just like, "Oh God, I don't know what to say."
Yeah, I mean, it's intense.
So, and then that's only just the best man giving a speech. I would to be on the other end where you're actually doing the ceremony. I could definitely see how someone might not be prepared for that.
and it isn't like, I told that, made that speech and that's the end of it. Like, this is someone's marriage ceremony, so they're going to remember it. It's being videotaped.
Everybody,
it's intense. Yeah, if you do it wrong, I can't say I've never made a mistake, but I can roll with it enough that, and plus, like, there's really not that much invested for me. I'm bringing a professionalism to it, and I tell them I facilitate it.
Yeah.
So no one cares about me. When I go there, they're focusing on the couple. So I don't have that, like, that they're staring at me type feeling, because no one cares. Mm-hmm. And after they're married, I leave. They're probably never going to see me again. Yeah. So in the weirdest way, I mean, I have severe anxiety. So for me, it's like I always live in that state of tenseness. So this is awesome because I'm running it.
So you got
They
used
don't
to this.
start till I get there. Yeah, and it's like it's empowering to me. So it's helped me with my anxiety issues
Good.
because it gives me control, and it makes them feel better that I feel comfortable there. And I tell them that. I'm like, after I leave, no one's going to care about what I do. I'm out of there. I'm a ghost within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, unless you want a picture. Most of the time, I don't stay for the reception. That's like, why? You going to go, oh, is someone talking to that lady? Who she's sitting with? And it's just another head to buy a dinner for.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's be real. And later on, I'm like, how was it? Did you like it? And we can talk about it. But for the most part,
Yeah.
I don't have to have that same level of freaking out. I can be, and that helps them. That helps the couple. I think that's what helps them the most. I think because nobody wants to feel funny and
Yeah.
it's not fun. I says I don't want you up there going like, when's the part where I have to say I do? When's that part where I have to pull that thing out? How do I do the rings? That's when it's like, oh, all that stuff comes. So I'll like quietly go like take the ring. Like they can't really hear me, and I'll
Yeah.
like put it on her finger, just smush it. Like they laugh and they feel good because someone's up there coaching them through it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess.
Yeah.
Without the experience, you might not know how to do that.
Right.
So someone new would be like, "Come on, like,
It
what are you waiting
looks
for?"
easy, but it looks easy because it's been planned so intricately before.
Yeah.
You know, we say like, well, you go first and you go second, and when she, when the bride comes up, this is what we're gonna say, and I tell the bride like, when you get up there, I'm gonna give an introduction because it's gonna give you a chance to, okay, I made it through, I didn't fall. That lady's saying a bunch of stuff, and I mean, like it means something, but it gives you a chance to center yourself and really be in the moment. And I tell them what I'm going to say before they approve the whole ceremony. They choose which parts they want. They can choose to write things or put in a reading, and we discuss how all that's going to go. So I'll say like, okay, when I start talking about the rings, you know that. Okay, the part's coming up. It
Yeah.
isn't. I'm not there to shock you or
Yeah.
make you look. I'm there to help you look good.
Yeah.
So there's, and I tell them where you're gonna get the ring, every single part of it, where that person should stand. After you get married, wait 5 seconds so everybody can take your picture, and then walk down the aisle. And I don't know. I feel like that's the one time in your life, like you're saying, when you give a public speech, you don't really get to control your audience. A lot of times, even what you want to say. This time at your ceremony, you've designed everything. Who's going to be there? For the most part, only the people you care about and want there. And
Yeah.
those people only have good feelings towards you. So everyone there wants you to succeed.
Yeah.
It's your day. It's all about you. So own that. Well, where's the get funny? No way. Take your time coming down the aisle. You're only going to do this once.
Yeah.
Have a blast doing it. Wear clothes you feel comfortable in. And yeah, you want to look nice, but I mean, if you have something that, the bride can't sit down or the groom can't tie this kind of tie, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Be you. Be you, be you, be you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that way you'll feel good. Yeah, I want her to know how I feel. I want to stand up in front of everybody I know and say, this is my wife. From now on, I'm going to call him my husband. This is my partner. That means something. And bringing you to it, that's what makes the wedding great, and that's what makes it memorable and meaningful to everybody who's there.
It's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. I love that. It's good. So, yeah. So I think that's enough on weddings, I guess. Let's talk about the actual running of the business because, like I said,
Okay.
paperwork's. I can only imagine dealing with
What
this
I do
day.
is
But
I set out and find out, because there's so many things to know, who's in the wedding and who, all those things. So
Yeah.
I send them out an application first. What's your name? How do I get in contact with you?
Yeah.
And then what do you want out of your ceremony and all that? It comes a little bit later, but mostly I do like, where are we? Where are you going to have it? And all those particulars. And then I get more into, I send them a proposal. This is what I think you'll need for services. And that way they can have time to, think it over. And I always meet with all my couples before we do anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you really need to make a connection to who's going to be standing up. Because like I'm saying, I want you to lean on me. So, and I tell every couple, if you meet with me, you don't need to tell me that day. Because that's like wicked awkward. I don't want you to go, I don't really like you. So just act like, yeah, okay, we're going to think about it. When you get back in the car, if you go like, she's not you're not feeling it, and definitely go meet other people. Every officiant I know will give you a free meeting. Go meet at Panera or Dunkin' Donuts or something. Go out, have a drink, talk about your wedding, and see if you guys have a nice conversational flow. Because at first you go there professional, but let's be real, going to be in a very intimate time in your life. So if you don't feel like you can tell me whatever you want or that I don't get you, don't pick me. Really don't, because you're not going to have the wedding you want. You're going to not like me because I didn't give you the wedding you wanted. So pick someone else. So I start that, that initial interview type thing. And then, if they're telling me they want to do climb a mountain and anything that's physical, I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm going to give you some names.
So, very qualified people.
I'm big, I've smoked, I'm not climbing nothing. I'm not, it ain't happening. But I know people, and I'm a member of the New Hampshire Justice of the Peace Association, and we know people, so I'll refer you to people, and we'll get you who you need. But we start there, then I send the application and a proposal, and then if they like that and they sign that, then I send them a contract that will say this, it's spelled out, this is when I'm going to be there, what I'm going to do for you. I don't enter into contracts with other vendors myself because I'm not running that business. I have no control over them.
Yeah.
But I do have people in the business that I've known. I've seen them produce for other people. So I feel that they're good choices for you. So I can, give you some names and talk to them, bring them together, but I have them meet each other and do their own contracts. And I have my own contract with the bride and groom, the couple, and they sign and I sign. Everything's, so even though they like me, I like them, it's a business.
Yeah.
And I want them to know, no, I'm not going to go there and break down all the decorations at the end of the night unless you're paying for full day coordination. But I also, when I show up at the wedding, will meet with your photographer and your DJ and tell them the first things I'm going to say and the last things so that they know where to position their shot. And the DJ knows when to start what song when. And we know that because we're in the business. We don't expect you, to figure that out and be telling everybody. But it's a well-orchestrated play, really.
Yeah.
And everybody has to know their part in it. So there's a lot of ceremony scripts back and forth and who's doing. So I joined Honeybook. That's a customer resource management program. And we can put all the couples vendors together. That way, if she says, you know what, I want my father to read something at the end, okay, she can tell all her vendors at the same time. And then we all know that that's going to happen. So I know to introduce him. The photographer knows, yeah, be ready. The father's coming from the left. So you don't have to go, oh, wait, I got to set up that shot. All those little things that happen, and it's just a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows what they're doing. And then at the end, I send them how did I do? Because, that's the bad part about this business is I don't get a repeat customer from them.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right, hopefully that no one, that their marriage didn't end in some way. But they will refer me to their friends and family.
Yeah.
And their reviews that they give me help other couples to feel comfortable hiring me. And if I wasn't good, I need them to tell me, what they think I could have done better or anything like that. I need to know that so that I am always improving myself as well.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So you kind of mentioned a couple little things there. So you're officiating the wedding. You're kind of helping do that part. Now, do you help them with the planning part of it also?
Yes.
So that you do the actual plannings.
Because I'll say, where are you in the planning? Because some of them are at the end. I have all my vendors. Everything's good. In others, I haven't done anything. I saw, they might have saw me post something on Facebook and they said, oh yeah, I figured I need one of them, so I call you. So it depends on where they are in the planning, how far away their wedding is, and then what things do you want. Some of them know a photographer or their friend's a DJ or whatever. They have certain people that they've already chosen. So we just kind of fill that in. Who else do you need? And then, and like I said, there's a lot of, they don't know who to go down the aisle first. What side does someone stand on? All of those things. Years ago you didn't know how to do any of that. And now you can just drown in wedding information. There's so many books and so many shows and, David Tutera and Martha Stewart and all of that. So I just try to keep them on track with what's important to them. So if they say, I really want to remember someone that's passed away. You know, one bride lost her mother recently, like before her wedding.
Yeah.
So she wanted that to be part of her ceremony. So we have ways to do that, just to include her in some way. Or I had a bride that lost her dad years ago. We took one of his ties and wrapped it around her bouquet, just so she felt like he was with her. So there's just little things like that. That's what I tell them. A lot of times I'm not going to get paid for what I do. It's what I know. And I don't know what you need until I talk to you. You know, that girl needed that. Someone else doesn't need that. So it's really the knowledge, you know, and being able to tailor services to each person. Because other than that, I need to wow them and over deliver. You know, I can't believe you brought all my ceremony supplies, or I can't believe, you know, you came that early. I've appeared at weddings like 1 and 2 hours before if they haven't had enough time to practice, or if a lot of people weren't at the rehearsal. Just filling in the space, because at the end, if they look good doing their wedding, I look good. And if it falls apart and nobody knows what they're supposed to do, I'm running it, so who else would you blame?
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to make sure that I do that so that they feel so good after their wedding. And they're so, wow, that was the day of my dreams. It was great. They can't wait to tell somebody else how good I made them feel up there. And if I can get to that, that's my goal, then I've done a good job for them, and I know that they'll post that someplace, every place I haunt, and get someone else to come back and try me out.
Yeah, because that's the business side of it, is getting customers.
You know, so that's all I can do. Is I kind of try to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just good business, and I tell photographers and videographers to do that too. Tell them it's going to take 2 months, and that way, if you get it done in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they think you're fabulous. Don't tell them it's going to be done in 2 weeks because you want to get the sale and then not have it ready for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them, they want pictures right away to start showing people what their day was. They know the editing takes time, but like give them, 10 or 15 pictures to show around, and I don't know, and be specific about what you're going to give. A lot of them say, well, I don't want the watermark on there from the picture, or just like, I try to tell the brides that too. Make sure you're very specific in what you want, and that way you'll get it. You can't like go, oh, I thought you'd have a microphone. I thought you need to know all those things. And I do from the vendors too. I try to meet with the vendor coordinators, and a lot of vendors coordinators will say, well, you don't need a day of coordinator because you have me. But the vendor vendor coordinator is there making sure your DJ showed up and your flower girl showed up and all that. But if something's going on in the kitchen, that's where they're going to be. They don't care that your guests aren't seated, because that's not what you're paying them for. That food has to be ready when it's cocktail time, and the meal has to be ready. So that's where they are. They're making sure people aren't parked, where they're not supposed to be. That they're not touching things they're not supposed to be, that they get their kids, they're not running all over the place. So they're protecting the venue. I protect the couple. So I'll go in and go okay, your grandfather's 90, he's not going to walk from 3 miles away. So let's bring him down the aisle now where there's not a lot of people. He can sit where he wants. And, there's just little things like that. Like I had one couple, we had an excellent wedding coordinator that dealt with the whole venue. She was with the whole bridal party. She said, yep, everything's great. We're ready to roll. So I went down the aisle with the groom and the groomsman, and we're all waiting, and there's no bride. So I'm like, well, where is she? So it kind of looks like, did she skip out the back, or what's happening? And somebody got a message to one of the groomsmen that was on the side that trickled on to us. There's supposed to be another whole bus of customers, and they haven't come. There's all her guests are staying at the hotel. And there was supposed to be 2 busloads of people, not one. They only waited for one. So I'm like, who's on the bus? If they're not here, I don't know what to do, because if the bride shows up, I'm not going to stop the wedding. But I don't, so I said, what did the bride say? That's my, they're running everything. I want to know what the couple thinks. And they're like, her grandparents. So I'm like, then we're waiting. So now we're all standing up there, and I said, I'll just make an announcement. So I made an announcement, and while I'm making the announcement, the other bus showed up, and there was about 30 people on there, so it would have been bad to go on. But the thing is after you look at something like that, and you go, well, whose fault was it? The hotel was supposed to provide, transportation up there for 2 people. They did. They were in contact with the venue coordinator that said, yep, they're on their way, okay, good. she's back there with the couple, so she doesn't know who's actually arrived or not. So unless you have a coordinator that goes, are those people really here? Are both buses there? How many buses are they supposed to be? What time did they leave? Do they know where it is?
Yeah.
All those things. You just don't have somebody filling in the blanks for you and telling you, get your photographer out there to take as many pictures of each bridal party first, and then after they can take the pictures of the couple with the family, because that's going to cut down on that hour can go really fast, that cocktail hour.
Yeah.
And why are you paying for a cocktail hour? You don't even get to go have a drink. Like you just got married, now you have to like stand while everybody else is partying, and that flow, they want to get to you, they want to see you and congratulate you.
Yeah.
Nope, wait till after dinner. It's like, no, get as many pictures as you can and then get to your party, and stay on your timeline. So those things that you need a coordinator for.
Yeah,
really.
which is really good. A bunch of points there that I want to touch on. You're right. There's when you were talking about each like vendor and contractor and stuff. A lot of each company is completely different. What they provide is very different. So again, having someone there that can kind of walk you through that is important. That's good. I like that, and that's a good point. From there moving forward, and you can kind of help them through this because you've done it so many times.
Right.
Where they probably their first time, or even if it's their second, it's still not hundreds or.
Unless you do it all the time, you don't really know what to look for.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a couple that said we have the best DJ ever, and the day of the wedding, I was like, "Where'd you find the DJ?" He's at a club that they go to all the time, and I'm like, he doesn't really do weddings, but he said he'd do ours. So then I was concerned because I'm like, he doesn't know about ceremony cues, so he doesn't know that how many songs. Some people have a song for the wedding party, then a separate one for the bride, separate one for. You have to know all those things. And sure enough, during the wedding, he's scrolling through his iPod or his iPhone trying to find a song. Because I'm like, you guys didn't talk about songs. You don't know how long the song is. So you might have a bride with no music halfway down, or the song just got to the words and now she's up there. And what are you gonna turn? They have to know to fade it out. There's an art to it. And it's all the things that you don't know unless you do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. And a lot of them, they say, I want flowers, but you don't know how many flowers. You don't know what kind of flower. If you pick your favorite flower, it might not be in season then. So you'll end up spending like $5,000 more just on because you like that particular flower. Find that out. So if you want to spend that, that's fine, but just know what you're heading into.
Yeah. So that's actually a good point. Seasons. Because I know weddings typically like the spring, summertime thing. Yeah. So, how's that running, just trying to figure that out? Because I know you must be pretty crazy come wedding season.
Yes, they book, about 18 months. I don't take anything longer than that. Excuse me, it's too far. Too many things can change. Venues even can change. They undergo construction. That's happened to some people. You think you're getting this room, but now that room's not available. So you want to go at least 6 months to a year out, but not 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But it pretty much dies down in the winter. But that's when a lot of couples should get married, because a lot of these vendors are sitting around doing nothing. They'd love to cut you a deal. And that way you get things for cheaper. Yeah, and the venues that you want, a lot of times are more available now. So you can go to a nice restaurant, a nice venue, and get what you want for a cheaper price. If you're going to try to go to the best venue in town in June and July, you're going to pay a lot. And they may say, well, okay, you're getting married at 1, we'll have you out of there at 5, flip the room, we'll get someone else in there at 7 or 8. These other places, you're going to be the only wedding that day. You're going to have the whole staff and everybody catering to you. So you get better service, and you get, I don't double book weddings. Unless they're those kiss and go specials. I might do a couple of those a day, but they're 2 and 3 hours in between, just in case someone doesn't show up or you need more time, whatever. But a big wedding where you have a lot of guests, I don't book more than one of those a day, because things happen, and I would need to be available to them the whole time.
Yeah. And I'm a photographer / videographer as well, and I don't do wedding stuff, but I'm just thinking about the type of shots you could take during the winter. If there was snow, it'd be phenomenal and beautiful. But people want the summer stuff, and I'm like, but I can only imagine what's available off season too. So
and they're not thinking of what do you think everyone's gonna look out there? You have a huge dress, or all the guys are in ties, and everyone's sweating. They hate you. I mean, there is no smiling there. They're like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. I can't wait to get out of here and get in. And that's what I tell them. Like, everyone's trying to be nice and act nice, but they really want to go in and have a drink.
Yeah.
And they're starving. A lot of times, the wedding day is so busy. You're like, oh, I didn't even eat. I had, a couple crackers, and that's it. I'm starving. So, you have a cloudy day, that's beautiful for pictures. The editing is so much easier. You get your pictures back. I just saw my friend's wedding. She got married at night. It was snowing. Her pictures outside with the street lights and the parking lot lights are out of this world. I can't believe it. And the snow's coming down.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's a picture. You'd stop what you were doing and say, wow. So.
Yeah, because me and my wife got married December 28th. Which was my birthday.
Yeah.
But it's like middle of winter. It was like snow and all this stuff. And so that's why we picked that, is it's different.
Yes.
Everyone wants like the summer and spring and stuff, but we pick something that, one, she can't forget.
Right.
I can't forget. And I don't celebrate my birthday anyway, so we put it on a day that we could, celebrate everything. And
right.
It's nice. The New Year's rolling around. And
people they're thinking about home at this time of year.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are around home, or they're planning on coming home anyways. So if they're coming home for Thanksgiving dinner, a lot of time I'll try to run specials around there, because I'm like, you already have all those people.
Yeah.
You already have a wicked good meal. The best, whatever you remember from your Thanksgiving dinner is going to be served that day. Why not get the best food with the best people? They're already at your house. I'll just show up. And
have a little wedding.
Yeah, and have a little wedding, and then a beautiful dinner, and every year you have your anniversary.
Yeah.
That it's nice to do that.
Yeah. I on the flip side, I can see the risk of that failing and then having that like yearly reminder. But but if that doesn't happen, then yes, that would be a really good thing.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah. But typically that probably wouldn't happen, but let's hope.
You never know. Yeah, right.
Yeah, awesome. So
but I've had couples I married that in January, and they did it on a Sunday at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and then they had a nice brunch going into the afternoon. Everyone loved that.
Yeah.
They still had their weekend, their Friday and Saturday. Sunday, everybody loves to go out to breakfast. Might as well get on better clothes and go get a nice breakfast. They had mimosas, they had dancing, the DJ was still there. It was a beautiful wedding. And it was outside. Her pictures were gorgeous in the snow, and so there's lots of different things that you can do that make a great wedding.
Yeah.
It's really about the food and the people.
Yeah, definitely. So this is pretty cool. So you do weddings.
Yeah.
Have you ever done like vow re-ups or any of that type of stuff as well?
Yes. I've done that a couple times, that they have like 25th wedding anniversaries, and we'll just renew the vows. So it's mostly, which is really beautiful, because it's like, okay, now that we went through everything we went through, and it's 20 years in, would you do it again? Yeah, I would. And that's really beautiful. And even people that have gotten divorced and then choose to remarry, that's even beautiful. I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm walking into, and I'm choosing to do it.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk some newbie advice for people looking to get married. Where should they start?
The venue is the most, because every other vendor that you go to is going to want to know where it is, because of travel expenses.
Yeah.
How many cameras and speakers do I need? How many flowers and decorations? And when you're choosing your venue, if you choose a place that's already kind of ornate and has nice decor and has a place for pictures and maybe has an outdoor porch or an outdoor piece to it, those are all things you won't have to carry in. You don't have to rent tents, and you don't have to, if they have a place, if it rains, they can do it inside.
Yeah.
If not, you can do it outside. You just have choices within that one place. If you have people coming from out of town, where are they going to stay? So you need that. We have to have that piece, and then that answers a lot of the other questions.
Yeah.
In price too. If you know how much that is, are they going to be providing the food, or do you need a caterer? And start there and kind of work out from there. Then you can add in decorations and flowers and all of that. So, but it's the venue first that. And a lot of times they go. The first thing everybody does is go to Pinterest, start making boards, because that's wicked fun. You sit, and you pick out your dress, and that's awesome. But then And also, you have to talk to your spouse or your future spouse and say, like, what do you want? Like, what do we want to eat there? Do we want everybody getting up and being in a line for a buffet? Do we want a plate of dinner where they're just gonna bring it to everybody? Where do we want it, and what kind of an atmosphere do we want? That's a ghost.
That happens to me all the time. That thing. So you can see that the thing just fell down again. I can't get it to stay up. Whatever.
Nothing cooperates.
Yeah.
Those kind of things happen at weddings all the time. You just, prepare for the unexpected.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I have to find something else to hang it with. Whatever. Anyway.
But that's, and most of the other thing is, like, if you choose a venue and then you've gone, even if you don't hire a vendor that has worked with that place before, or that you're not going to hire them this time, but they've been there before. They'll give you tips. You can use certain flowers and stuff for your ceremony space, and then while everybody's at cocktail hour, bring them on in and decorate your reception area. You don't need to buy, separate ones for there and separate. You already own them. Bring them in. There's also renting things. And that's the other thing about the venue. You have to ask the questions. There's places that they charge you for the tablecloths. They charge you for the chair covers. Who's going to put those chair covers on? One bride, we stayed up till 2 a.m. the night before. Me, her aunts, and her mother, and her ironing them to put them on, and then tying bows. And so that kind of stuff, you may think is included and it isn't. Or do they give you silverware and glasses and all of that? And they either provide everything or there's a separate charge. So just be wary of that.
Yeah, and I can see that being a consistency thing too. Like, if you get a really expensive venue and you show up with like plastic forks and knives, like that could throw that off a little bit. Right. So that's good to know too.
And if you have a venue and say, we really want it to be a barbecue, they may not allow you to have other food, another vendor come in.
Yeah.
They have their own food. Or there's other places that have a kitchen. They'll let you cook. So if you want to do potluck, that's the kind of place you want to go to, because they'll have a kitchen for you to, crock pots and tables for you to heat stuff up. And so, you really need to go, where do we want it? What kind of a wedding do we want to have, and then where do we want to have it?
Yeah.
Everything.
Good. That's how we did ours, kind of. Because we did our wedding and our venue at 2 different places.
Yeah.
So I wanted it that way because after the wedding, the people who wanted to gracefully step out could. They didn't have to go to the reception. Right. So we just kind of did that way. Then we all went to the reception, but that's exactly the thing. Like, they wouldn't allow outside alcohol. Like, you had to use their bartender at the place, which was fine because it was pretty cheap. But
there's
so
liability
there's
issues
each
that,
thing.
like, we don't know about as lay people on the outside. Well, like, why can't I just bring my own booze? Well, there's reasons, and really it's good to have a bartender that knows what to look for. They know how much they're serving each person. You're not watching that. You want to just have fun.
Yeah.
So, but even I've seen weddings where they have to hire the tent and all that's coming in the day before, and they're putting that up, and people are making their own centerpieces, and there's a lot of DIY in this nowadays because people want to save money and they want it to be meaningful. They want all hands on deck. That's part of the whole wedding experience. And the whole thing is moving forward, and everyone's doing it. Makes it fun.
Yeah.
But it's you just want to pick which things you're doing yourself, and which some things. Yes, get a professional videographer. It's gonna matter. I know for myself, I'm like, I'll film it, and when I look at it later, I'm like, you never kept it still. There's a lot of like turning the phone this way and that, like you're filming the whole time, not there's an art to everything. And,
Yeah, so having a professional is good.
Yes.
You want them to have done it a bunch of times, and especially if they've done that venue before, that's even better. Like, they know how everything's gonna be run. So.
And they know where light. A lot of times it's what kind of photographer too. If you have a photographer that only does studio, that's a controlled atmosphere. Then you're going to have a photographer that's outside. They need to know about lighting conditions. They need to know about, sometimes kids aren't going to cooperate. They need to know all those things, and they have to be able to have, and having 2 shooters is excellent too, to have 2 people.
Yeah, so it's just a lot to think about, and it's good to have someone like you in your corner,
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. So, was a pretty good interview.
Yeah.
We're rolling about 45 minutes now, so
Okay.
let's we can start rolling up there. So,
Okay.
how does someone get a hold of you?
They can go to my website, NewHampshireWeddingsbySusan.com, or give me a call at 603-718-0720. Or on Facebook. I'm all over Facebook.
Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah,
Right, yeah, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, there's so many bride groups on Facebook where the girls give, or everybody that's getting married gives advice to each other, and I've learned a lot from that too, from what everyone's looking for. And
Yeah,
everybody's very supportive of each other, so they can go there too and get a lot of ideas.
it's pretty good.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So, switch the camera. So, thank you so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having
And,
me. I had a good time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Okay.